stores have no clue how to handle the Lord of the Rings set. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie. I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. Today I want to talk about stores are a little scared right now. I don't know what the old, conversation has been going on. I have been working my butt off to get our store going, but I don't know what the conversation on the market's been about this whole Lord of the Rings set. But from what I'm hearing, and from my own personal perspective, the Lord of the Rings set is a little scary for stores, but let's back up. And let's talk about the current Magic the Gathering market, because things are actually going better in 2023 than I would have predicted. I think they're actually going actually pretty well. And so you've got Phyrexia, which seems to be pumping pretty good. It's not out of the reach for people, for the consumer. It's like set boxes are like $125. Collector boxes I think are at like $230, $225, $230. Those are good prices where everyone can afford the product and can get in on the product, but then also stores can make some margins to keep afloat and to stay afloat. And they're looking like it's looking a little bit like Kamigawa did, honestly, where set boxes are starting to dry up from the distribution level. You can't just go and order as many set boxes as you want right now, which is actually good. They are throttling back in a way that is allowing the secondary market to stay healthy and not get out of control, but allow stores to continue to make some profit and give you a place to play. So that's good for Phyrexia. March of the Machine looks phenomenal. Like, my store Discord has been blowing up with people looking at the spoilers and talking about it. We've got a lot of hype and interest. You've got the dual character cards like Gitrog and Thalia. Like, it looks so cool, and it's a really awesome, honestly, like, I was gonna do a video about this, but it almost feels like that kind of thing should have been a Magic 30th set. They should have done like a special set for Magic 30th and had all this lore and callbacks to the game and mod. Anyway, but it looks really cool. March of Machine looks super cool, and best part of March of Machine is that Plane Chase is coming back with Commander. I'm so excited to play Plane Chase. This is my favorite way of playing Magic the Gathering, and so I'm stoked about that. All right, so the standard releases have been pretty much on point. The market's accepting this kind of distro cost to retail cost ratio that allows customers to not get fleeced, but allows stores to stay in business. And the main products right now are doing really, really well. The standard releases are doing really, really well. But in typical fashion here, there's always more coming up. There's always something else, next. There's always something on the horizon. And on that horizon are two products that are very, very expensive. Commander Masters and Lord of the Rings set. And so we're gonna primarily talk about Lord of the Rings set here, although we will hit on Commander Masters at the end. Somebody told me that in a meeting with Wizards of the Coast, that Wizards of the Coast essentially said that they believe Lord of the Rings set will be the highest selling Magic the Gathering set of all time. Of course, we do know Mark Rosewater said that Modern Horizons 2 is the current highest selling set of all time, and it makes sense. They've just kept that thing in distro at all time, and the secondary market hasn't seemed to really tank on it. People love MH2, but they are believing that Lord of the Rings set is going to be the biggest selling set of all time. And of course, with that, they threw first off, that's great. I mean, that's fantastic. I would love to be part of the highest selling Magic the Gathering set of all time. I was kind of involved in Modern Horizons 2. I wasn't really a store yet. I was kind of right on the fence of becoming a store. And so I didn't get the whole hype of Modern Horizons 2. And so I'm excited as a store to be involved in a set that has that much excitement and hype and intrigue. But they didn't just put it out there and make it easy to do. They have raised the price on this very much. So if you compare this set to Phyrexia Will Be One or March of Machine, and we'll get there, I know it's not a standard set, just you put your click-clacks away, we'll get there, but compared to standard sets, there's a 40% store cost increase compared to Lord of the Rings and the standard releases for set boxes. There's a 35% increase for draft boxes, and there is a whopping and astronomical 160% increase compared to collector boxes for the store price costs from distribution. And absolutely crazy, 160% compared to the collector boxes of standard releases. Okay, I get it, it's not a standard set, but it is still 30% more for collector boxes than Dominaria Remastered was. Whew, that scares the absolute heck out of me. And Commander Masters is going to be even worse. I'm not even going to get into the numbers because we're so far away from Commander Masters. It just doesn't make sense to talk about. But man, it scares the heck out of me as a store to commit. And I got to commit way earlier than than customers have to do, obviously, which makes sense. That's part of the business. But like, it is scary to commit to that percentage increase on a product. And I know there's serialized cards. Maybe there's a one of one, Lord of the Rings ring. Like, that's going to be super cool. I get it. But man, it's still scary. And then the reason it's scary is that meanwhile, the market seems to, and I'm curious on your pushback here as a viewer, and I would love you, leave comment sections if you feel like I'm off base here. But I feel like the consumer and the market is rejecting collector booster box prices over $250. In my mind, there seems to be a mental barrier for the customer at the $250 for the, your standard 12-pack collector boxes. I know Double Masters is different. It's a 4-pack box. But for those 12-pack collector boxes, in my mind, there seems to be a barrier at that $250 threshold. There are two misses that I'm missing there, or two things that I'm missing. The number one is Commander Legends, which is $450, and number two is Modern Horizons 2, which is $355 for the collector boxes. So the reason I'm not leaving those out, those exist, but those were also created in products that came out right along the pandemic and with all the supply issues we had during the pandemic and all those things. So I don't know. I mean, obviously you can look at them and use them as numbers, but if a set comes out now, the only real thing we have from a 12-pack, a collector box, exciting non-standard set is Dominaria Remastered, which it's kind of tanked. It's at $250. I mean, I don't want to say that I was right because I called it being like a more failure. I wouldn't say that set was a failure, but the market is down. I mean, compared to distro cost, you can't as a store. I'm glad I didn't order more of it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm glad that I got rid of most of my product and I'm not sitting on it. Feels not as bad as Baldur's Gate, obviously not anywhere close to Baldur's Gate, but it was still scary. Anyway, so if you look at Throne of Eldraine, the first collector box set, they're sitting at $290. Kamigawa, one that was amazing and one that really stood out in the history of time, sitting at $210, and then Dominaria Remastered at $250. So the market, in my mind, there's a threshold at $250, and in order to get above that threshold, you've got to really have something special in it, or, this is the key we're going to talk about, the supply has to be throttled back. And so when you look at all this, and this is my point here, when you look at all this, stores have no clue how to react or how to handle the astronomical increase in pricing where our cost of the Lord of the Rings collector box is higher, significantly higher than the current cost of a Dominaria Remastered collector box. What am I supposed to do with that? How am I supposed to have confidence in buying the product when the market of in my mind, better product? Like, in my mind, Dominaria Remastered collector boxes is I guess I just don't know exactly what the Lord of the Rings set is aiming to be. But so what does this mean for you, for me, for Wizards, for the market? What does this mean going forward, and how to handle it? What should we do? Well, if Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro learned their lesson, this is the biggest question. Did Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast learn their lesson about supply and demand in 2022? We know that they were aware of it, and they said it. We have an excess of product in our warehouses. We saw the Amazon dumps. We saw the landfill dumps. Like, we saw all this stuff happen. So did they learn their lesson? Will the collector boxes for Lord of the Rings be super tightly allocated from distribution? I'm talking, if I order 50 of them, will I get cut to 10? Will I get cut to 5? If that is the case, then I think that this is going to be a really, really strong set. And I actually think, and I've said this on the podcast before, I've said this multiple times on the channel, I actually think, first off, I don't like collector boxes. I don't like any of that. If they are going to do collector boxes, I think that those should be very difficult to get. I think those should be expensive. I think they should be sought after. And I think the draft and set boxes on the back end should be higher production, higher produced, cheaper to get, and for the players to experience the set in that way, and for collectors to have a chase, something to want, something to find, something to hunt down, rather than what we see currently, which is just like this mass product dump on the open market that the market really can't handle, the market really can't keep up with. Ideally, in the best of worlds, what I would like to see would be this have been a regular priced set. A standard price set where consumers can interact in the product the same way that they're interacting with March of the Machine and Phyrexia All Will Be One. They say that this is like a new player product, like where new players are going to come in from people who love Lord of the Rings. They're going to come in and want to play Magic the Gathering. But like when they see the $350 price tag, are they really going to want to buy that? When they see a collector, a set box that costs half the price of an Xbox, are they really going to want that? That's the question for me. Instead, we have high risk, and for what reward? Collector boxes going to $450. Is that the reward? Is that what I'm missing out on? Am I missing out on $100 profit? Because listen, at collector boxes at $450, we've got Commander Masters like right around the corner. I don't fully have faith that this product, while exciting with Lord of the Rings, and you guys know I hate Lord of the Rings, so like, it's not really my excitement, but I get that the market's excited for Lord of the Rings. There's Commander Masters coming out in 2 months after this, 3 months after this. And it's going to suck up a ton of the funds that would be driving the price of this set up. If this set is really good, it's going to still need money to drive the price up over time. And with Commander Masters coming out so close, I think it's going to hinder the growth rate and growth potential of a set like this. So let me know what you think about Lord of the Rings set and all the price increases, and where do you see a cutoff in terms of what you would buy for a collector product, being a Magic fan. And so, all right, hopefully you have yourself a fantastic day. Be kind to the people around you. If you're looking for pre-orders on March of Machine, I've got those up on the website. And if you're looking just to hang out, make sure that you leave a comment in the comment section. Be kind to the people around you. We'll see you again next video.